What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Dana White drops big news during livestream. UFC President Dana White had fight fans in a frenzy on Friday when news hit the UFC's official social media accounts that White would be going live with some big news. After running promotional footage for upcoming cards, the UFC president broke news regarding upcoming fights. At UFC 287, Alex Pereira will square off against Israel Adesanya in a highly anticipated rematch for the UFC middleweight title. The news comes on the heels of widespread speculation that the UFC could look to book Pereira a fight with Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight title in an attempt to avenge Glover Teixeira. In addition, a welterweight showdown between Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal was also booked for the April 8th card, marking the end of Burns' lengthy campaign to fight the BMF. While the fight won't take place at UFC 286, like Burns had hoped, the two finally have a date for their long-awaited scrap. The fight news didn't stop there, however. White then went on to announce that Kevin Holland and Santiago Ponzinibbio will also be fighting on the main card, marking Holland's first fight of 2023 after fighting 4 times last year. As he looks to snap a 2-fight skid, he'll have to get through Santiago Ponzinibbio, who will be looking to pick up his second straight victory after his UFC 282 win over Alex Morono, with Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez and Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez also set for the main card. UFC 287 is looking absolutely stacked. Earlier this week, it was also rumored that a bantamweight title fight between Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo was also in the works. Although there's been no word on whether or not the fight will be finalized or pushed back to another card, many are hoping to be treated to a card with 2 title fights. While there's been no official word on where the card may take place, speculation is that the event could be held in New York. Who do you have emerging victorious from the newly announced matchups? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Sean Strickland reacts to Francis Ngannou leaving the UFC. When Dana White announced that former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou and the UFC were parting ways, fans were quick to take sides, weighing in on whether Ngannou should have stayed with the UFC or if he was making the right move by fighting elsewhere. While Sean Strickland may be one of the most outspoken fighters on the UFC roster, he didn't bring any hot takes or controversial claims to the table when discussing Ngannou leaving the UFC. The way he sees things, Ngannou deserves his respect for standing by what he believes in rather than selling out for a big paycheck.
Respect that. Me personally, I'm not that fucking way. You give me money, dude. I'll give you my name. I don't give a So I respect the fact that he stood by what he believed in and did what he wanted to do. I'm personally not that way. I'm a sellout.
What did you think about Ngannou parting ways with the UFC? Give us your thoughts in the comments section below. Bella Mir becomes first athlete to sign NIL deal with the UFC. Bella Mir, the daughter of former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir, has reportedly signed a name, image, likeness deal with the UFC. The deal is the first of its kind, marking a new era for the promotion as they expand beyond the octagon. After it was determined that collegiate athletes can earn money for their name, image, and likeness back in 2021, companies like Barstool Sports were quick to swoop in and begin sponsoring collegiate athletes. Back in December, the University of Iowa announced that they had signed a deal with the UFC, making the promotion the school's sponsor for both men's and women's wrestling programs. The UFC broke the news on social media this week, announcing Mir, who competes for the University of Iowa as a wrestler, as the promotion's first NIL ambassador. She gave her thoughts on the news in a press release, which read, "I'm super grateful and honestly couldn't be more thankful to UFC President Dana White and the UFC for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to make sure I do my best to represent the UFC and show the world what I'm all about." Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Conor McGregor hit by car while biking in Ireland. Former 2-division UFC champion Conor McGregor was hit by a car this week while cycling in Ireland. The UFC superstar posted footage to his social media accounts moments after the incident happened, narrating exactly what happened while the man apologized in the background. McGregor showed off his torn pants as well as his banged-up bike in the video, while audibly coming to the realization that he could have been killed. As the video ended, the man offered McGregor a ride, given that his bike was smashed up, which led into another video of the former champion in the passenger seat of the man's car. In his caption, he credited his martial arts training with helping him escape harm in the situation. "Got a bang of a car just now from behind. A sun trap. The driver couldn't see me. Full speed straight through me. Thank you God it wasn't my time. Thank you wrestling and judo also. Having an awareness on the landing saved my life." Henry Cejudo was quick to react to the news, seizing the opportunity to take a jab at his longtime rival, tweeting, "Glad you're okay. heard you're on a bike because you ran out of gas. Thankfully, after narrowly avoiding another catastrophic injury, McGregor will set his sights back on his return to the octagon. Diego Sanchez slams NSAC for sanctioning power slap, but not BKFC. Dana White's Power Slap League has continued to receive plenty of criticism in recent weeks, while the latest ratings report showed a 40% increase in viewership compared to the first week's airing on TBS. Many are still wondering how the competition was sanctioned in the first place. UFC veteran Diego Sanchez, who is currently gearing up for his BKFC debut at Knucklemania 3 on February 17th, recently questioned why the commission continues to decline licensing for bare-knuckle boxing events but allowed power slap competitions be sanctioned. The UFC has the lock on that. They won't sanction BKFC where there are combat athletes that are skilled fighters and warriors that are trained, but they will sanction power slap where you got a powerlifter that is smacking the hell out of another guy, giving him real brain damage. What do you make of the power slap competitions? Have you found them interesting to watch? Or is it merely just a passing fad that will fade out in time? Give us your thoughts in the comments section below. And now for our breaking news story of the day.
I just got freaking jumped. They beat me up, they beat me down, they stomped on me while I was down. Kevin Holly, bro, that guy. I'm walking through, because we were just at XKO at the Statler in downtown. I'm walking through the venue. Okay, me and Kevin already don't get along. Kevin Holland. So I'm walking through the venue. He ends up being in front of me. I make a quick eye contact, continue on my way, don't say a word, don't touch him, don't look at him, nothing. So then literally less than 10 minutes later, me and my girl were about to leave. For a quick second, I'm like, hey, shoot, I just left my clothes upstairs because I changed clothes. I go back to run upstairs where my fighter was to grab my clothes that I left. And I see Kevin Holland coming down the stairs. I'm walking up the stairs. He's coming down the stairs. He literally stops in front of me, looking at me. And he looks at me and then reaches his hands out. And like he's stopping me from walking upstairs, and he grabs on my fucking arm. So what am I gonna do? I'm like, nah, nigga, get your hands off me. And I do pop, pop, and I back him up. Like, hell nah, you ain't about to be grabbing on me. And then this nigga, pop, pop, pop. And the next thing you know, I'm getting punched in the back of my fucking head. Next thing you know, my glasses get tossed across the room. My earphones get tossed off me. I'm just standing here confused. What the did I do?
Last night, we were at the XKO fights, having a good time, enjoying ourselves. We were on our way out. Of course, I seen Ugly Man Joe. Not gonna deny that. He was walking up the stairs. I was walking down the stairs. He didn't want to walk to the other side of the stairs where the guy he was beefing with was, so he walked up my side of the stairs. Like I was gonna move. I was like, bruh, chill out. As soon as I put my hand up to say chill out, he grabbed me. As soon as he grabbed me, we kind of almost went flying down the stairs. Quick reactions, neither one of us fell over. By the time I go to fix my coat, I don't know what happened. So he was doing all this stuff that he talks about. I don't remember none of this. I don't remember none of this stuff. All I remember is him getting in the fight and me breaking it up. So don't use my name for clout. Don't put me in your BS. When we got outside, I told you straight up. If you want to fight with me, you can fight with me. We got gyms. If you want to come to my gym and spar for $20,000, I will give you a chance to make $20,000. You asked the kid for $20 to get inside your live feed. So here I am, offering you $20,000 to spar me. Remind you, hand's still a little beat up, but I'm good with one hand, and I'm good with my other legs, and I got elbows. If you don't want elbows because we're in the gym, but getting online and crying about getting in a fight with somebody when you're a fighter makes no sense.
Tony Ferguson says he's been asked to coach tough against Conor McGregor. This week, Conor McGregor left fight fans stunned when he casually announced via Instagram that he had been asked to coach the Ultimate Fighter once again. The Irish superstar posted a photo from before his UFC 189 clash with Chad Mendes as he reflected on his time coaching on the show opposite Uriah Faber. As the fight community speculated as to whether or not he would be asked to coach opposite Michael Chandler or Jorge Masvidal, Tony Ferguson threw his name into the mix, revealing on Instagram that he had been asked to coach on the Ultimate Fighter opposite McGregor, or anyone else he was interested in coaching against. The two, of course, have had quite the storied rivalry, trading shots with one another on more than one occasion, with McGregor even going so far as to publicly criticize Ferguson for a mental health breakdown in 2021, when he alleged that Ferguson's wife sent videos of the UFC star trashing his house. with McGregor clearly willing to pull no punches in regards to his former Paradigm Sports stablemate, a season of The Ultimate Fighter will certainly be wildly entertaining. At the same time, however, fans didn't seem nearly as excited about the idea of a McGregor vs. Ferguson season of The Ultimate Fighter as they did about McGregor potentially coaching opposite Michael Chandler or Jorge Masvidal. Given that UFC President Dana White has stated previously that McGregor's first fight back will likely be against Michael Chandler, many still aren't sure what to make of Ferguson's claim. Although the show would be the perfect way for the UFC to sell the fight while McGregor goes through a 6-month mandatory testing period under USADA, it's hard to ignore the fact that the two men are at incredibly different stages of their careers. While McGregor hasn't won a fight since 2020 and Ferguson hasn't won a fight since 2019, El Cucuy is in the midst of a 5-fight skid that saw him brutally knocked out by Michael Chandler to kick off 2022 and submitted for the first time in his UFC career to close out 2022. Are you interested in seeing McGregor and Ferguson coach against one another? Give us your thoughts in the comments section below. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.